Hello and welcome back to the Everything Film Podcast. We're your hosts Nathan and Ryan, and in today's episode, we will be giving you our thoughts on the latest Marvel movie, The Fantastic Four First Steps. Without wasting any time, Nathan, what did you think about the movie?
I I thought it was great. I loved it. I loved everything about it. There was nothing like there was nothing that when I was watching the movie I was like, I don't like that, or I didn't like the way they handled this character. To me, it was a perfect movie. It was a different movie. It was a type of movie we haven't really seen before, and I really enjoyed it.
What was your favorite aspect of the movie?
It has to be the space sequences. I think the movie really shined in space. And that's where the characters belong. That's how they started. They're astronauts. So I think the space scenes were very well done. Yeah, and also just seeing them work together and the way they got out of that situation in space. Just seeing how like that's where we saw the team dynamic. Ben helping Reed is the brain and also trying to be a good husband, and then Johnny, he's the immature one. He's the hothead. So he's the one that was fighting the Silver Surfer, and I just really love the team dynamic there. And then Sue just also like carrying the team, um, just helping out. But yeah, I really love this movie. I really thought like the space sequences were really good.
Now, what was something you didn't like about the movie?
Um, it's really hard because what I didn't like, it's not like it made me not like the movie. It's just like little nitpicks. Um, I just kind of wish that towards the middle, what we got a little more Silver Surfer action, like so that there could be more action, maybe like another fight with Silver Surfer, but like there wasn't really anything else. I would say. Um, yeah, I really think that's the only thing that I like really didn't like.
Okay.
How about
My
you?
my favorite aspect of the movie, I was originally going to say the space scenes, but since you took that, I have to find something else. My favorite has to be the whole team dynamic, or the way the team is in a sense. My favorite aspect is the team itself. I love how it feels. It feels connected in a sense. Johnny's decoding Silver Surfer messages, and you'll see Sue pop in and talk to him about it. And it's just like they feel like an actual family instead of just, I know they're supposed to, but it's refreshing to see something like that in the MCU. It reminds me of Guardians in a sense, but not as family. And I love the way that Matt Jackman pulls this off. And my least favorite part of the movie has to be the underutilization of the thing. I feel like he was given the short end of the stick when it comes to things to do in the movie because we have Reed trying to solve the whole Galactus situation. We have Sue raising her or taking care of her child, and we have Johnny deciphering the Silver Surfer language. But Ben's just kind of there. He doesn't do anything substantial to the plot, and he has nothing to do for most of the movie. He's just kind of there, just walking down the street, talking to this lady, and he has a side plot with this love interest, but it goes nowhere. It doesn't really go anywhere at the end of the movie, and I feel like they could have done him better and given him a bigger role in the whole story itself. Do you agree or disagree?
Um, I I disagree. I think that the thing was perfectly utilized because even in the trailer when Sue has the line where she's like saying that their powers, they're still who they are with their powers. Um, she's always there. Johnny is Johnny, but Ben, he's always been a rock, and I think that's his role in the team. While all of them are like struggling, um, Sue is taking care of Franklin, and she's trying to find a way to save Franklin and the world. Reed is also trying to do that. Johnny is deciphering the Silver Surfer's language, but the thing, it might seem like he has nothing to do, but I think he's the rock. He's the one holding the team together, even in space. While Sue is having Franklin, and Reed has to be there with her. It's Ben that's there. That even though Reed was the brains behind getting them into the black hole, but like it's all it's all Ben that did that because Johnny was busy firing at the Silver Surfer. So it was Ben maneuvering the spaceship and doing all of that stuff. And I think even on Earth when the whole power curfew thing was happening, he was the only one out there helping. When it came to doing like all that stuff, like to building the teleporting stuff. So I think that's his role in the team. It's to hold the team together, and even though like it may seem like he has nothing to do, he does have things to do. Because you even saw him like holding Franklin when just to give them a break. So I think that's his role in cooking. Uh, yeah, I think that's his role in the team.
I see what you mean, but that still doesn't mean that while everybody else is doing something important, he's just there buying cookies.
Well, he's not really doing that.
Well, yeah, he went. That's really all he was doing, just holding Franklin, buying cookies. And I get he's a he's the rock of the team, but you still could have given him more to do and develop him more. The trailer showed us a lot more scenes with him. In fact, they cut some of his development to the point where you're left with this small arc that he has. He doesn't even really have an arc, but you're left with this small development that he has. I'm hoping that they do him better in Doomsday because we know he's going to be in it. So I'm hoping that he gets more developed and he's not just there to just for the purpose of being there. He's not just there because he's a part of the team. I hope he actually has a role to play in the overall story.
Okay. Well, I think differently, but um yeah, let's move on to Reed Richards.
Okay. Where do you think Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards ranks across the other two?
I think
We're not
he's better than both of them.
we're not counting the 94 version because it was unreleased.
Yeah, I think he's better than both of them. I think he perfectly captures everything about Reed Richards.
Me too. I think that Ewan Griffin looks the most like Reed Richards and is probably the best casting, but Pedro's version of the character is the better version, if that makes sense. Ewan he looks more comic accurate, but he was given a script that doesn't do the character of Reed Richards that much justice as much as Pedro's script does. So I think that's why Pedro has the edge over him.
Um, yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, I really loved his version of Reed Richards, and I think my favorite part was when he was having that conversation with Franklin, saying that I'm gonna stop testing you, um, because most fathers want you to be like them, but me, I don't want you to be like me. There's something wrong with me. And I could just feel his pain because, like, I think it hasn't really been explored that Reed knows that there's something wrong with him, and he would love to be normal. He would love to be like Ben or Johnny and have the same level of empathy as them, but he doesn't have it, and he just can't help it. He has to think of all the possibilities, no matter how harsh they can be. And even when he had the small argument with Sue, it's just who he is. It's not like he wanted to give Franklin up, but he just thought about it and he had to think about it. It's just who he is. And I think I really loved that part of the movie, and it really made me connect with him a lot more. And I think even though he thinks he's not that empathetic, but he's getting better. Even with when he made the spacesuits, there was nothing wrong with the old spacesuits, but he did it because Johnny asked him to, and he felt bad because he kept putting everything that Johnny asked for off, so he did the spacesuits for him. And I think the movie like takes place when he's trying to get better, and he is getting better with his emotional side.
Yeah, my favorite scene with him in it is when he gets into that argument with Sue, where he considers giving Franklin up, but he has to because, like you said, that's who he is. He has to let a bad thought enter his mind so he can learn how to counter it. And I love the way that they wrote him in this movie. I'm hoping he even gets more developed in Doomsday. I think Doomsday is a great opportunity for us to see these characters grow, and I hope that this version becomes a definitive live action version for most people.
I think that he already is. I think that, just because of the aesthetic, because of the script, because of the villain, it's Galactus and the Silver Surfer, and both of them were handled really well. Galactus isn't a cloud anymore. I think just because of that, it like he's up there. And I think that he will become the definitive Reed Richards.
Yeah, I think he will over time because Yoan Griffin is right now for multiple reasons. I think one is because he resembles the character the most, and two, because he was given so people have nostalgia growing up with his movies and they show their children these movies. Nobody shows their children Fan Forstic. So like most people show them the early Fox movies. So most of the population knows him as Reed Richards.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but to me, like, he is like these characters um are like the the definitive version. Vanessa Kirby is Sue Storm for me. Um, Pedro Pascal is Reed Richards. Joseph Quinn is the Human Torch, um, and Eben Moss Backrack is the Thing. So I don't know, for me at least.
For me too, I'm just saying the whole most of the audience.
Yeah. And also, I wanted to say real quick, I love the way they pulled off the established universe, like the established team already. I think they did it perfectly. I feel like I've known these characters like since the MCU started. Like like I said, we caught Reed in the middle of his character arc, in the way that he's changing how he thinks and is applying more empathy to his character. And I feel like I've been there since day one where he hasn't done that. He didn't do that. And I just feel like I've known these characters for a long time.
Yeah, I think that it does a great job of not putting you in the middle of the action, but putting you at a right start to the story. Not start, but
Yeah,
in a
it
way,
feels like the start.
it feels like the start of this story.
Yeah, like I like even though it's been 4 years since they've been the Fantastic Four, I feel like even though it would be cool to see a project that basically takes place during these 4 years or shows their origin, but like I don't feel like I need it. Like I'm not in like that interested in it. Like I don't need it. I feel like I already know all of this. And even though they did tell us, but like I feel like I've seen all of it already. And I think it kind of did what Superman didn't do for me, where like I wasn't like I felt like I needed another movie before Superman. But with this, I don't really feel that way.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I think that Superman did put us in the middle of this story, while Fantastic Four put us in the start of their story. But they still have multiple stories, but they just put us at the start of this one, while Superman threw us right in the middle. And I think that's where Fantastic Four succeeds, where Superman fails, because of the way it opens. I think that it reminds me of Homecoming in a sense, because it Homecoming threw us at the beginning of the Homecoming story, but not in the middle. It didn't start us off with this battle. It started us off at the beginning of this story. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah. Um and also because I think I don't want to talk too much about Superman, but I think the reason why Superman didn't really do it for me is because of how important that first battle was. Because Lex Luthor had Ultraman in the Hammer of Bravia suit or armor, and that was a very crucial part to the story. And I think because it was such a crucial part, that's why I felt like I needed something before. Um, yeah, I think that's why I felt that way.
Yeah, you kind of dropped a spoiler there.
Yeah, well, those people.
We'll put a spoiler warning for Superman and Fantastic Four at the beginning. Now onto Sue Storm. I I can easily say this is my definitive version of the character. I think that they pulled her off really well, and my favorite scene with her has to be, I'm not letting you take this one from me, but it has to be when she's in the park introducing Franklin, and she's like, I won't sacrifice my child for this world, but I won't sacrifice this world for my child. The writing of that of the entire movie is just really good, and I think she has great chemistry with the whole team. I feel like her scenes with the Thing got cut, but you can also see the chemistry with him is there, but it's not given time to shine. But like her scenes with Johnny when he's deciphering the language, her scenes with Reed, like it's really well done. She's a really well executed character.
Yeah, I agree.
What was your favorite scene with her?
He kind of took mines from me. But I guess I'm gonna say whenever she's just using her powers, I just think her powers are really cool, and they um they use them in a very unique way. And like when she made her stomach, like the top part of her stomach, invisible, so like that Reed could see the baby, I thought that was really cool. And even when Reed is just like, Sue, hide us, and she does that, she got really good at using her powers. And I think just her dynamic with everyone, like I just loved that she really got along, really like she had chemistry with everyone. I think the whole team did. But like just like you said, with Johnny, with Reed, with the Thing, even though like you said their scenes got cut. But yeah, I could just really feel feel that these people have been working together for 4 years, and even like working together as the Fantastic Four, but even before that, they were a family. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Also, like her pushing Galactus into the portal is really well done. I know people are saying that they kind of buffed her, but even in the comics, she's going like
head
she's
to head with
fighting.
Celestials.
Yeah, she's fighting Celestials. So I think that they power scaled her perfectly.
Yeah, and even though like she did do all that, she couldn't push Galactus. Like she couldn't fully push him into the portal. It took the Silver Surfer to do it because he was just gonna come out, and she would have been too weak to push him in
Yeah.
any further. So I think that they did her really good. They did her really well.
Where do you think this ranks among the other two?
Well, the top. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
I
that
think
for
this is I
everyone.
think this is number one too.
Yeah, I think all of them are just number one.
Yeah.
Okay, next is Johnny Storm. Johnny is my favorite member, and I think they in the old movies they just like played him off as just like not that smart. Um, he wasn't as smart as everyone else. He's the immature one. He all he like he all he's really good for are his powers, and I think this movie does a great job at showing you he that's not who he is. It's not just his powers, and it really does that for everyone. But with Johnny's like specifically, I think that we haven't really seen him be smart. You
Yeah.
know?
He was always just this bully.
Yeah, yeah, a bully and the hothead of the team. So like just him deciphering the Silver Surfer's language, I really love that. And also like when he's trying to shoot the Silver Surfer in the black hole, and the blasts are like warping the shots, or like the wormhole is warping the blasts, and he's just telling himself, "Figure it out, Johnny," and he does figure it out. And I think they really did the character justice because I don't think he was just an immature member of the team, or just just a hothead, or he wasn't smart. He was smart. He is smart. That's why he was on. That's why he went up with them to space, not just because he was Sue's brother, but he is an astronaut at heart.
Yeah. What was your favorite scene with him? I feel like you're gonna steal mine, but
It has to be when. Well, I kind of have two. When he's like shooting the Silver Surfer, and also when he says, "I'm gonna charm her." That's just like these two are my favorites.
okay, I also have two. One is at the beginning, actually, it's kind of three. One is at the beginning of the movie when the fire is going around and he just absorbs the fire. It looks really good. It's the VFX was on point. Two is when the train is broken and him and Sue are working together to fix the train also at the beginning.
Yeah, I really love that scene.
Yeah, it's really good. Again, the VFX. And three is when he's playing the messages for Silver Surfer and they're both in the sky. It looks really cool. The colors, their characters look great at when it's dark. It's really the visuals of this movie is I think it's the best in any MCU. Thor Ragnarok might give it competition, but I think the visuals here clear the visuals there.
I think Thor was like more consistent with its CGI though. Yeah, there wasn't really any like this movie did have some wonky CGI shots.
Like with I think it's Mr. Fantastic and Franklin
Yeah, and the thing sometimes, and there was like also the shot with Sue.
when they're getting out of the car.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
minor things like that. Um, but
but
I
it's
think the
not
visuals,
the VFX.
yeah,
But the CGI isn't too bad for it to remove you from the story.
yeah, it's really like little things. I
Yeah,
think it really like it gets the most noticeable with Mr. Fantastic at the end.
yeah, and Franklin.
Yeah, but even that, like, it wasn't that noticeable for me. Like, I saw it, but it wasn't like, wow, this is a CGI baby.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah, and then like, let's also talk about Johnny was delivering most of the comedy for me. Like, just his crush on the Silver Surfer, that was really funny to me.
Yeah,
Like everyone, I don't know if you remember, but like everyone in our theater was laughing
yeah,
whenever he had a line. Um, just him crushing on the Silver Surfer when he asked her, the surfboard is it part of your body? You know,
yeah. The whole theater was laughing.
yeah, I really loved that.
Him and Mole Man really get,
Yeah,
and the movie doesn't have that much comedy,
it
but the
really
jokes
doesn't.
it does have really land. And I think it has to do with the amount of jokes it does have. Because if there's a joke like every 5 minutes, you're gonna get tired of them. But the less you have a joke, the more you want one. And when you get it, you're more satisfied with it.
Yeah, this movie was very like it was a dark movie and it was hopeful but like very dark at the same time. It was depressing because just seeing how the Fantastic Four just kept failing. They would come up with these really good plans, but then they would just keep failing. Just like when Reed was like about to teleport the Earth.
I'm wondering if it would have worked.
I, I
I
I'm
think
pretty
it I
sure it
think it
would have.
would have.
Yeah, like he's the smartest man alive, and he did well. I guess yeah, like he calculated everything. I'm pretty sure it would have worked. And I remember watching that and I was like, okay, yeah, that's how they're gonna get to the MCU.
Yeah, and I was so sure he'd cause an incursion, and
Yeah.
that's where Doomsday would start off. And then maybe like they get on the ship and go to warn the Avengers or something. I really wasn't expecting them to save their world because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, they can do whatever, they can destroy this world however they want because they have the main sacred timeline they can always go to. So I was expecting this one to come out destroyed.
Yeah, with like everything. Like when I saw when they were about to teleport the Earth, I thought they were going to the MCU. Or when Galactus came, I thought that they would actually like their world would be destroyed and they would be like the last people standing and they'd have to go to the MCU. And I think that also makes the movie so much better because like their world doesn't have plot armor. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't. They could really do whatever they want with this world.
I was expecting them to use the machine that they used on Galactus on themselves and teleport themselves to the MCU.
Or even like on Franklin.
Yeah, and
Like
maybe they get on a ship and they come.
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good theory. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, but like throughout the whole movie, like I was wondering, is their world gonna die? Is their world gonna be destroyed? Or, are the people gonna die? It was thrilling. It was like I could feel the suspense. Yeah, I think that wraps up Johnny.
Yeah, we got sidetracked
Yeah.
there. But next up is the thing. So, what was your favorite scene with the thing?
It has to be in space when he's like, I love the scene where he saves Johnny when he's like, "I got you, Johnny." It's little moments like that like I really love. I don't know if you remember, but like when he runs out of oxygen, and he falls, and he
Yeah,
carries him. I really love that scene. But I think my favorite is when they're in space and he's just like he's piloting the ship and Reed is like, "Trust me, we're gonna have to go into this black hole," and he's like, "Okay, I trust you." I just love that.
yeah. My favorite scene with him is It's Clobber Time.
Yeah, that seems good.
And that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have that many cool moments like everybody else had, or that many memorable moments like everybody else has. And I feel like they were trying to give him stuff to do, but none of it was working. Like like they tried to give him the the whole love interest plot line, but it just didn't amount to anything.
Well, it kind of did. I think, like at the beginning of the movie, he's, you could tell the way that he walks around. He has his head down. He's not that confident. Um, but like he kind of gets noticed, and he starts to be a little more confident. And by the end, he starts to talk to her. I forgot her name.
Rachel, I think.
Yeah, I think it might be Rachel. But yeah, he starts to talk to Rachel, and he's more confident. And even she said, when he said, I'll bring cookies," that's him taking a step. And I don't think been he hasn't been in a relationship since like he got his powers. So I think that worked, and I'm glad that they weren't rushing things.
Yeah, I guess, but it felt useless to the movie because you introduce this original character and it just doesn't. I know you say they weren't rushing anything, but they were kind of extremely slowing it, and it was kind of slowing the movie down. Like you wanted to see what was going on with Reed, but you're seeing Ben go to this lady, and it's just like, we're following them now. I feel like they could have done a better job at giving the thing something to do. I do think Abin Moss-Backrack does a great job at playing him, but his part of the script wasn't as strong as the others, if that makes sense.
Um, yeah, I guess if that's your opinion, it's fine. I think that is the thing's story. He's not confident. He he doesn't like that he's a rock. He wants to be normal, and I think that's his that's his arc, and we kind of caught him in the middle of him accepting it. So yeah, I guess let's talk about the Silver Surfer, Shala Ball.
I think she's the best executed character in the movie. It might be a tie between her and Galactus, but they're both done extremely well. Like the visual effects on her, there's not a shot where she looks bad, and I think that the action scenes she's given are really good. Like her surfing through Johnny's fire, her surfing through the lava at one point, right?
Yeah.
I think she's given some of the best scenes in the movie, and her redemption arc is done. I wish we got an extra scene of her, like after Galactus talks to her, but I think it's still done really well, and I hope to see this character again. And I was not expecting to see her backstory in the movie. I thought they would just say it but not tell us, or I thought they would just tell us but not show us, but they actually did give us a flashback. And when I did see the flashback, I was expecting them to show Norrin Rad, even if it's like faceless. But I still love it, but I was expecting Norrin Rad to show up.
Um, yeah, I agree. She did have some really cool sequences. Um, yeah, really just everything you said. But I did know that they were going to show her backstory because I saw the set photos um, when during the reshoots. But yeah, I think I agree. I think I do wish she got an extra scene because I kind of like I forgot about her after she left. But maybe I guess that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to make you forget about her until she's the one who beats Galactus. She delivers the final blow. Um, But yeah, I found out that the surfboard is not part of her body. Yeah, I think she was done really well, and I would love to see her return. And Galactus too. So I guess let's just talk about Galactus. I I really love the way they did Galactus because in this movie he's not really a villain. He just wants to he's just hungry and he he needs to eat and he has to eat planets. And of course, the Fantastic Four do not want their planet to get eaten. So they're adversaries. But when he finds out about Franklin, he says, "Just give me your child and I'll spare the earth." But of course, the Fantastic Four, they don't want to do that. So that causes conflict, and even then, he's not a bad guy. He's not just trying to make the Fantastic Four's lives miserable. But I think with the way that they ended it, with them sending him to like infinite nothingness, I think
Yeah,
um that's going to start his villain arc. And I think he might be the next big bad of the MCU. I I think that they did this on purpose. They didn't kill him, but now he has a reason to hate the Fantastic Four because he's going to be hungry in that wherever he is. So I think this movie set up the next big bad for the MCU.
I don't really feel like Galactus works as a big bad though, because he comes there for like the end of the movie. I don't think you build him up for a whole saga. I just think that maybe if there's a next team up movie between the Avengers, X Men, Fantastic Four after Secret Wars, he could be the villain. But I don't see him being a multi movie build up. I don't see that for Galactus because he's just he just shows up and just devours your planet. The only way to stop him is like you can't beat him. You have to like either trap him or convince him not to destroy your planet. So I don't think that they would set him up for a whole saga. But I do think he could be a villain for a future team up movie, but not for a whole saga.
So I do agree, but I think that if he's paired up with someone else, I think he can be.
Yeah.
Like maybe Norrin Rad. Maybe he teams up with Norrin Rad and they're the big bads. Or if they want to bring Kang back, maybe Kang finds a way to save Galactus or something. But like I do think he's towards like he's an end of the movie villain, or like towards the middle villain, because I do think that you can beat Galactus, especially with Franklin on your side.
Yeah.
And now that they're in, like, even with Sentry, even though like he's not really as strong, but I think with Franklin and Sentry, and they're going to be introducing the X-Men with Jean Grey on their side, I think that all of them can work together to beat Galactus. And even with Reed Richards, I think so. I think that they were setting him up to be a villain.
Yeah, I don't think this is the last we see. It would kind of be a shame if this is the last we see of such a great villain.
Yeah. And
Because Marvel is known for doing that, just using their villains and just killing them off.
I also do hope that Galactus is not the the Fantastic Four 2 villain.
Yeah, I hope he's not.
Yeah, if he is going to be another, like, if he is going to show up in another movie and like be the main antagonist, I hope it's a big team up movie. Like Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. I hope it's that level.
Not like a two-parter.
Well,
I
I
don't
think
think you can do that with Galactus, but at least like a long, like Age of Ultron. I
Yeah,
don't.
but like maybe the Secret Wars. He
Yeah,
comes at the end or something.
yeah, I can see that. And now we move on to Franklin Richards. When I heard that they were introducing this character in the movie, I was scared because you can use Franklin Richards in multiple different ways. But I was afraid they'd use him as this plot device to just get whatever the writers want to happen. But the way he's used in this movie is you can't control what he does, and he's not overused. He didn't defeat Galactus. He just undid what he just brought Sue Storm back. And I love that they didn't. I hope that they don't do that in future movies. Just use him as this overpowered plot device to get whatever they want. And I hope that when you have an overpowered character like this, you need to ground them, give them struggles. And I hope that they do that with Franklin and just not keep him so OP. I hope that they give us compelling arcs with him. And I think that the way they handled him in this movie was good.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I was wondering how they would include him, and I thought like he wasn't going to be born in this movie at first. When I heard that, when I saw Sue Storm was pregnant, I thought like it was gonna end with him being born or something. But then when I saw him in the marketing, I was like, whoa, it's this fast. That means like she gets pregnant at the beginning, and she did like right at the beginning. Um, but yeah, like it is hard to handle such an OP character, but I think that they know how to handle how to handle him because when you have such a powerful character like that, you make him a problem. So they are going to make Franklin a problem. I'm pretty sure they will because of the post credit scene. I think that he does have these flaws, and I think it's because of Reed Richards. His dad, his dad doesn't spend that much time with him. He doesn't really have his father isn't really in his life like that. And when Doom comes, he poses as this father figure for him, which misguides him and kind of turns him and questions and makes him start to question what's good and what's bad. And I think that that's going to be his arc. He's going to be a problem for the Avengers, for the Fantastic Four, for the universe.
Yeah, I can see them doing that.
Yeah, I think that's the way you handle such an OP character.
Yeah,
I'm glad that he's not like I'm glad that he is probably going to be like a problem for them because it would be really hard to write a compelling story with someone like that. And the Russo brothers do love to do that. They love to um, power. They love to depower their characters, their strongest characters. They removed Wanda. They they killed her off in the snap. They they turned the Hulk into the Smart Hulk.
yeah, and they Vision was down for,
Yeah, Vision was dead.
but like he was down for most of Infinity War.
Yeah, he was. He
He
was
wasn't
badly
able to
injured.
fight. So yeah, I can see them. Thor was the only the really
Well, and they did depower Thor
yeah,
with Fat Thor.
they did.
So like,
Well, he was still pretty
no, he
strong.
wasn't as strong. He was way weaker
Yeah,
because like it took all three of them to like defeat the past version of Thanos.
yeah,
Like he wasn't really able to do damage. I think Cap did more damage than Thor did.
yeah. Well, after he got the hammer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like Cap doesn't have nearly as much strength as Thor and as much raw power as he does. Yeah, and I think with Doomsday and Secret Wars, because of how powerful, if Franklin is on Doom's side, and Doom himself is very powerful, I don't think that they're going to have to depower their their main characters.
Yeah, they're just overpowering.
The
The
villains like that, they don't have to depower our heroes.
because I don't think they're gonna want to do that again.
Yeah, and I also think that I think that Sentry might go to Doom's side somehow. I do think that he will. And even in the concept art, we saw Doctor Strange with Doom. And maybe Doctor Strange does make the hard choice and teams up with Doctor Doom. So they have Doctor Strange, Franklin, and Doctor Doom. And I don't think Thor won't do well against magic. You know, that's his weakness. And Sentry, he can't really use his powers. Thunderbolts depowered him for the Russo brothers.
Yeah,
So honestly, like I don't really see anyone that's like nearly as strong to defeat what's coming. That sounds so epic.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for the future. I can't wait to see what happens with Franklin Richards.
And we kind of already did this, but post-credit scene. What did you think about it?
I thought I thought it was cool. I was hoping for a little more, but I thought it was really cool.
I was
Um,
hoping we'd see Doom's face because we know it was RDJ on set, but like, I think they're holding off on the face reveal until Doomsday or the first Doomsday trailer. And I was hoping to see his face.
I I I was hoping that they didn't show his face as RDJ, but um I was hoping that we would just see him in his mask at least. But I think like it was really cool the way, you know, we saw him in his cloak and he had the mask in his hand and Franklin was touching his face. I thought it was really cool. It was cool.
Yeah, yeah, I think so as well.
It was
And
a good
even
post-credit scene.
even the music, it was really creepy. And Alan Silvestri did it.
I
I
forgot how the music.
uh, yeah, so it was really creepy and stuff. The way Sue leaves to go get another book for like 5 seconds, and then Doom is just there. I can't wait to see that play out in Doomsday.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and like the way that just thinking about it, I'm pretty sure the Baxter building has security.
Yeah, and he just bypassed it, or he must have been inside for a while. Imagine if he like hacked Herbie or something.
It's not all Herbie though. Like I don't know how he did it, but like he just bypassed all that security. He got in there really quietly, and it's really creepy.
Yeah, I really don't understand
It's
how
really
he.
scary.
Yeah, it is. I really don't understand how he was able. Because Reed is the smartest man alive. You would assume his security is top notch, but Doom was able to bypass it quickly.
Yeah, without like alerting, without
And
sounding any alarms.
yeah, even Herbie was there, but he just didn't see Doom.
Yeah, and Herbie was gone.
Yeah.
We didn't see Herbie.
Well, we did see him in the beginning of the post credits scene.
Yeah, but after.
Yeah, I want to see. I feel like they cut some that they're only going to show us in Doomsday,
Maybe.
but I'm really excited to see how it plays out in Doomsday.
Yeah.
So that's it for today's episode. Be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're your hosts, Nathan and Ryan. Thanks for listening.